Hello, this is 1911 Maxwell AB. It's been in our family since it was brand new. My great uncle Joe Whiting purchased this car October 28th, 1910 in Carnesville, Georgia at Wansley Brothers Auto Sales. My father acquired this car in 1957 when he got home from the service. When he got the car, my uncle had painted the car black with a paintbrush. And the only car at that time my father had ever seen in way of a Maxwell was a 1910 model AA, and they came in red. So Dad had painted this car red. And upon this last refurbished restoration, the only color this car came in 1911 was the blue that you see here. Car has not been started in about 9 or 10 days. We've used the car every summer since 1957. It's primarily used to raise money for cerebral palsy. Our oldest child, or my parents' oldest child, had cerebral palsy. So that was a charity near and dear to their heart. Did a complete restoration of this car over the past year. It's from the frame up, tore it all the way down to the frame, and put it back together again. Car is in excellent condition. I'm going to show you a little bit about it, how it starts, how it runs, and hopefully we'll take it for a ride. It's kind of chilly here in Louisville today. I believe right now it's about 43 degrees outside. It was about 20 degrees last night. And I'm going to start out by showing you the engine here. And it is a two-cylinder, opposing cylinder engines. Has an overhead cam, two lobes on it, an exhaust lobe and an intake lobe. It's about 16 horsepower, 14 to 16 horsepower. It's just a carburetor on it is more primitive than what you got on your Briggs and Stratton lawnmower at your home. It's a magneto and battery system. You start it on battery, switch it to magneto. Everything you see on the car is original. The upholstery was recently done in this refurbish, and the upholstery was done in leather with horsehair stuffing, just as it was done when the car was originally manufactured. And all the brass is original, and it's all been clean, refurbished. Dents, scratches, any kind of flaws were removed. All the lights work. All the side lamps work. The side lamps are oil lamps. The headlamps are acetylene gas or calcium carbide. Your carbide generator is right there on the running board, and it is fully functional. And it's got drum brakes on the back, and it's a 2-speed semi-automatic transmission. It's got a low and a high, and it has a reverse. So what I'm going to try to do is go over here and give you an idea of where things are in the engine. And what you'll see here is what I'm trying to go into is your carburetor is right here. And when you're first starting the car, there is a needle that will come up here when we turn the shut-off valve from the fuel line back on. You'll push that needle down twice. That primes the intake so that it starts up easy. And then this car does not have a crankcase per se that holds oil. The way this car works is it's gravity fed, and you will see that we have a brass oil reservoir right there on the firewall, and that reservoir holds approximately 1 quart of oil. And I'll zoom in on the reservoir here. It's that brass drum looking deal right there, and that's something you have to fill up or check every day. Once you fill it up, there are sight glasses on the firewall that you can see also the back side of the sight glasses, and that's where the 3 tubes are going to the firewall. And those are sight glasses right there that you can see both from the driver's side, or when you're sitting in the seat, or from the engine side. It has to get 15 drops per minute. One of those glass tubes goes to the left cylinder, one goes to the right cylinder, third one goes to the crank. The crankcase per se is an aluminum block engine. Block holds about an inch, inch and a half of oil. Once it's reached its maximum level, that oil just drips out on the ground. So it's gravity fed, and once it's reached a certain level, what additional oil goes in, drips out on the ground. It's not made to hold oil or be a sealed block or crankcase. Try to do everything completely authentic down to your radiator hoses, which we used the similar style radiator hoses that were used back in 1910, 1911. And radiator is in excellent condition. It was pressure tested. It pressure tested out well. The lamps on the car, as I said, they're gas acetylene lamps. The reflector lenses were remirrored because they had lost their mirroring over the years. And possibly we can get you somewhat of a view into those if possible. But anyway, we'll try to do that maybe outside a little better. But both mirrors were redone, and they turned out really, there you go, turned out very beautiful. All the wheels were completely torn down. The hubs were split. All the spokes were checked. Had to replace about 4 or 5 spokes, and they were in great shape. Of course, every last nut and bolt on this car was taken apart, cleaned, either cleaned, replaced, fabricated, checked, inspected, made sure everything is in excellent or perfect condition. I'll stand behind this car on everything that's been done. Now, I guess what I'll do now is go through sort of the routine of starting it, but before I do so, I'm going to probably open the garage door so we don't die of carbon monoxide. This car, the windshield was an optional item. Cost an extra, I think, $100. The headlamps were an additional $150. When my uncle purchased this car, he paid $850 for it. We have, as I said, we have all the magazine articles and the manuals that came with the car. We have various articles of my father with it go back to 1960, 63, when the car was used to raise money for cerebral palsy. He was the founder of the Dixie Vintage Antique Car Club. I guess the most important thing that we have here is we've got the clear title to the car. And this is clear title for Kentucky. The car is registered as 1910. When this car was manufactured, in those days, the year that the car was manufactured or built in is the year of the actual car. And this is a 1910 manufacturing date on this car. We had always referred to it as a 1910 Maxwell, but your purest Maxwell owners say that all ABs were built in 1911. Here is the original bill of sales that was provided to my father from my uncle when he purchased it from him. He purchased the car at Fort Bragg while he was in the service, and it gives the original location where the car was purchased. And I've got, of course, Kentucky registration, and we have various, I probably have about 20 to 30 different manuals for this automobile that I have managed to acquire through my research during this last little refurbish of our old friend here. This car has actually been with my parents longer than I've been alive, so it's a great deal of personal attachment. It's just I have no children to leave it to, and I have no place to keep it here in the next few months because I am in the process of relocating. So I'll be back with you in just a minute. Thank you very much.